Hello and welcome to Unbox the Podcast, the podcast that helps you live your best life. I'm your host, Sahar Huneidi-Palmer.
I'd like to begin by thanking all my subscribers and listeners to Unbox the Podcast. I've received a lot of suggestions from you, and what you would like this podcast to do is to inspire you to change your mindset so that you can deal with your life, have the best life that you can. Today's subject is money. I'd like to talk about money because you seem to be feeling the crunch. Kaching! How do we make money flow into our life? There's a lot that we can say about money, but today I want to focus on 3 ideas. Or perhaps a better way of saying it, I want to invite you to think of money as fluid, like an energy that ebbs and flows. So how can you sense, measure, or have a sense of how this energy flows into your life? Therefore, your space and your environment are important to welcome this energy in your life. 2, I'd like to focus on you. How do you practically see money? How do you handle money? And thirdly, you need to understand that all your relationships, your relationship to yourself, in terms of your self-expression, your creativity, your hobbies, your romantic relationships, personal relationships, business ships, and your relationship to money itself, which really springs from the second point. How do you handle money practically? Before you want to make money, ask yourself, what are your values about money? Find your why. Why do you want to make money? What is it that you're going to do with that money? As we said, money is an energy that flows. You can really literally measure how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. So my first tip is I invite you to plot your expenses and your income. For example, take the last 12 months. Put it on a graph where your income is a plus, your expenses are minus. Just take totals if you like. And plot the points over the previous 12 months and look at your graph. How far do you go? How much money? What was your highest income, for example, in what month? Make a note of that number. Look at your highest expense and make a note of what month it was. In an abstract way, non-specific way, try and understand what your expenditures were about and what made you make that much money in that particular month. This is your flow. This is your pulse, if you like, your financial pulse. And have a sense of how far are you willing to be in debt or to run your overdraft account into overdraft before you actually motivate yourself to make money. This is really important because when your brain sees what you're trying to create, it will help you unconsciously to think better and to have a more practical, grounded approach to making money. I want to go back to how much money do you want to make and why. This is important because to your mind, if you have a reason or a motivation for making money, then already you would have went up the scale of motivation or inspiration in order to make money. This will help you overcome any negative thinking about money. From my experience, because people tell me, oh, you have such some self-will, you're so disciplined. I really am not. What I do personally is I dangle a carrot. If I dangle a carrot, when I give myself an incentive, I just tend to do things because I think of the end result or the goal or the reward that I want to put for myself. And this is why identifying goals or your why is really important to help that money or abundance flow into your life. So how much money are we talking about? What will you use it for? If you wanted a house or a boat or whatever it is, find out how much do these things cost. Put a figure to how much money you want to create, at least for this year. The other idea that I want you to focus on, in order for that money to flow in, you need to invite it. Because money is fluid, it's almost like a feminine energy, a yin energy, if we speak in terms of yin and yang, and you need to invite this energy in. It's almost like a femme fatale. You can't invite it if you have a messy environment, disorganized, accounting system or filing system, even in an office. So a harmonious space or the container, because everything is yin and yang, content and container, before you allow the content to flow, you need to have the right container. Whether the container is physical or, as I said, in terms of being organized in your accounting system or your filing system. So for money to keep flowing, you need to maintain the container. Start logically by creating a structure, seeing how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, where is it going out, can you reduce some of the expenses? This, as difficult as it may seem to be emotionally, to face how much money you're spending, it will give you an idea. Maybe you can realign your expenses. If you spend a lot of money, for example, on magazines and stuff and books, maybe you can read them online. If you spend a lot of money on your well-being, buying vitamins and supplements, perhaps you could buy them at wholesale, for example. So things like that. Identify your expenses so that you have a more grounded approach to money. If you want to make money, it's also logical that you need to spend less money on personal stuff so that you can invest that in whatever it is that you're trying to create, whether a project or means of earning money. When energy is flowing well, it will almost become a ritual or an organized way of making money. You're very clear about your goals, and this motivation is enough to help you attract the energy of money into your life. I want to talk about your space now, the physical space, because that's part of the structure. Is your home organized, happy, harmonious? What about the office where you work from? Your desk, if it's not even your own premises, your desk, when you come in the morning, is it clear? Is it tidy? Do you know what you're going to accomplish that day? The more grounded you are in your approach, the easier that the money would flow into your life. So think of money as a creative energy, a feminine energy, a femme fatale. Think of a client who's entering your office. The path must be easy flowing and enticing, so money, Lady Money, can find you and visit you again. In terms of space, the ideal shape or environment, a good container, is a square shape, which represents stability. If your space, home or office, is missing a corner, look at your floor plan. You can remedy that or compensate for the missing space. I truly believe in that. Everything reflects everything. Everything on the inside reflects everything on the outside. And sometimes all it takes is getting organized in your space, in your filing, in how you handle money. And that alignment itself, as I said, will make money a lot easier to flow. So think of the yin and yang concept. Think of the container and the content, which is the money, and the container is your structure, whether it's a physical space or metaphorical space, and there must be balance between the two. If any parts are missing, then you need to compensate for that, complementing it, whether redecorating or organizing, getting it to be harmonious, really. You need to be so comfortable in the space where you think, create ideas, or handle your business. If a space is missing, the ability to gain finances will be limited or restricted, to say the least. Most of us are not aware of these intangible influences that affect our ability to create money. Now we come to you. What is your mindset about money? How much money is enough? I remember a time many, many years ago in England when the lotto was a rollover. And I think the prize was about £50 million. And there was a big gathering of friends and family, and we were all discussing that, £50 million is such a lot of money. What you can do with it? And I just heard myself say, well, it's relative. It depends. If you like art, for example, and you want to purchase a master's painting, that's roughly 20 million. If you want to have a yacht or a private jet, that's again another 20 million. And then you need the staff to manage all of that and your house and so on. That 10 million is not going to be enough. And everyone went quiet. It just really helps if you put a figure as to how much money we're talking about. And if you logically find the cost of things, then you have a benchmark. And the more money you want to make, the bigger tank you need to have in order to fuel yourself and reach your destination. What this means is more organization, more disciplined. It's not really about discipline, but you need to understand that if I want to make a long trip, if I have a higher destination, more amount of money, then I need to work harder, not just smarter, but that is the priority. So you need to cut down on personal things until you reach that goal, for example, and then you can relax and do whatever it is that you want to do in life. So it's about finding balance. That is my point. And it's about looking at money practically. understanding what does it entail to achieve my financial goals. If you're missing any piece of information logically, like a skill, a technique, information, then find out and learn these things to help prepare you better to attract money. Now, the third point is look at your relationships. There must be balance or harmony in all of your relationships. Your relationship to yourself, your relationship to you, finding out what is your self-expression, i.e. creative hobbies. Most clients I've worked with are lacking in this respect. Your hobby is not just a silly thing. It's your chance to find out how can you create, manifest, make real, literally realize ideas in your head. And while you do that, while you see what it is that you're making, whether it's a painting, a sculpture, a ceramic piece of art, your brain is learning the methodology of going from an idea to a practical realization. So it is really important, as we said, money is creative. The more creative you are, the more you'll be thinking in fluid terms to attract this money, this energy into your life. Let's look at your personal relationships. For me, I almost always tell a client how you express who you are in life is mainly through three channels: creativity and hobby, your love relationships, and your attitude towards money. If you are energy or your expression should be flowing in these three channels equally, in balance, harmoniously. If you ignore one aspect, you have a lot of energy. You're pushing it down two channels forcefully, if you will, ignoring the third, so you will end up blocking them. Whereas if you have a balanced approach to developing yourself in all of the three aspects, then you will reach that harmonious balance point and all will go well without having to overwhelm yourself in one channel and ignore the other. So if I want to make a lot of money, but I'm not focusing on money, I'm focusing more on having fun, without a goal, you'll have fun, you'll have a great life, but then you won't make the money. So think of money as, again, fluid. The energy needs to flow equally in all areas of your development. And if you're missing in one area, it will affect the other area. So if your relationships are blocked, you're probably too much focused on money. Or if you are too much focused on money and making money, your relationship will suffer. But again, think of creativity, because money is creative. And the more creative you are, the more hobbies you have, or the more that you try yourselves at hobbies, actually. It's not about the number of hobbies. It's about actually having systematically a hobby that you develop to allow yourself to be inspired, to allow your brain to learn how do I bring an idea from a concept in my head into physical, practical realization. These may sound simple. Take them on board, try them, and let me know what worked for you. So my tips are: harmonize your space, literally. Look at your space. Is it tidy? Is it organized? Look at the paintings, photographs that are in your space. Do they express or depict abundance, or are they about lack? Spend some time in your space, home space or office space, and just feel your way through. Is it inviting enough for Lady Money to flow into your space? If not, then follow your heart, make some modifications, get organized, declutter, and you will see your brain will tick a lot better and you will be inspired with ideas of making money. Tip number 2, be grounded in your approach. Be practical. The more logical you are, the more intuitive you will be and inspired in terms of making money. Find out the cost of things. Ask yourself, how much money do I want to make? Find your why, as we said earlier. Track your expenses. What can you leave out? How can you buy better so that you can spend less? And finally, balance your relationships in terms of money, creativity, and as romantic and business relationships as well. The three are important for a harmonious balance and flow of money in your life. So the next time you want to say something about money, it's so hard to make, economy is not doing well, these are limiting beliefs. Stop doing that and just focus on your goals. And as they say, mighty forces will come to your aid. So focus on your personal reality, Focus on what you can do in spite of the current circumstances, and let me know how successful you were in terms of shifting your mindset and creating more abundance in your life. See you next week. Unbox the Podcast, new episode every Tuesday. Would you like your voice to appear on the podcast? Send me a voice message. Why do you listen to Unbox? How do you listen to Unbox? And I would love to have your voice there. Live your best life with me, Sahar Huneidi-Palmer, online intuitive life mentor.